Hey guys, it's Otto from the Moonic Productions Lair. As I mentioned, I've kind of done music since I was 11 years old, and I was really influenced by bands like System of a Down. I think that's really the thing that got me to playing guitar. I've mentioned System of a Down a lot and my love for System of a Down, but I think that's where it all started. And I also mentioned that I've done kind of all kinds of musical things when I was younger, and then like as I got older, I got interested in certain subcategories of metal, and then like insecurity started developing where I started becoming scared of making music, which is really strange because I started out with this sort of creative confidence of not caring and doing anything that was in my head. I've been working on that recently, and I've made a lot of solo music that's really kind of more out there, but I thought I'd kind of take a trip down memory lane and go through my old stuff, and I thought it would be interesting to revisit the first song I ever recorded and other things and remake them. I thought that would be really interesting. I think my musical journey started when I first opened something called Magic Studio. That's what it's called, Magic Studio. And I think my dad was showing me just different software and stuff. A little before I knew it, I was just kind of addicted to the process. I don't really know where the music thing came from exactly. I think our whole family kind of wonders about this, like where did this music thing come? Because my brother's into music, he plays the guitar and sings and stuff. There's a little bit of music in my family, some art, but it's a bit of a mystery. Like I definitely got my guitar thing from my brother, and I remember like first hearing music, my brother was listening to Ugly Kid Joe. And I saw this album cover with the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like, whoa, what's that cartoon? And my brother's like, this is music. And I'm like, what is music? And he said that you just kind of sit down and listen to it. I'm like, what? And then I'd listen to Ugly Kid Joe, and I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand. I'm like, whoa, you just sit here and listen. This is weird. That's just a very strange early memory of music. And things happened. I got my first guitar, which was an Epiphone Flying V-Wee. I didn't know how to play it. And I think I really got interested in guitar when I first heard System of a Down. And then it's like, you discover the drop tuning and it's like, oh my God, I can do anything now, And then it just got to this point where I opened up Magic Studio and I just started recording things. And I think the very first song I actually ever made was called The Darkness. I think that's the very first song I made. I actually found some of these old songs. They're not the original versions, but they're like around the same time, and I've kind of remade them, and here I am today remaking this stuff. I think the very first thing I recorded was The Darkness, and it was just really terrible, and that was my very first attempt, and it was awful. And this remake is a little bit better. It's kind of like System of a Down, so I guess we could have a listen. Yeah. My first band was called Occupied. Yeah, just System of a Down. I remember recording this, and then I had another song too, which I recorded. It was called Bullets, Guns, Guitars. That's the way of life. Bullets, guns, guitars. I don't know. I remember being really fascinated by the recording process. Like, wow, you can make many tracks. I didn't even know what a click track was then. And I just tried recording something on The Darkness, and Dad would help me out. He'd press record, and I'd go to the keyboard to play the keyboard drums. And, I still play the keyboard drums to this day. And I'd record a really bad take, and I'm like, Dad, could you press record again? I'll try to get a better take. And he's like, okay. I'm like, no, Dad, let's do it again. And he's like, oh, okay, And I'm sure that was, tiring, but that was, I'm sorry, Dad. It was interesting, and my dad has just always been so supportive of me with this stuff. He's just had a really important advice for me just throughout the years. And I recall when he got like an Apple computer, and you could do multi-track virtual instrument stuff on it. And he would just whip out the software, and he's like, check this out. You can pull out like horns and pianos and just make your own thing. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, try it out. I'm like, okay. And I tried things, and I made something. I don't have it anywhere, but it was like some horn section. I probably made a little song that went da, 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 da. And I was like, wow, this sucks. And then Dad was like, yeah, but, well, okay, but you made it. You made this. Do you understand? Like, you made this piece of music. So supportive. Like, I'd make a song, and then he's like, this is my boy. He made this. He made this. He made this song. Check it out. My boy made this. God, I'll carry that for the rest of my life. This is just, Mom also just so supportive, always encouraging to just nurture the creativity and making your own music. But anyway, The Darkness came about, and I thought I'd do like an honorable remake for that, just with the System of a Down sounds, like how it's supposed to sound like in my head. Kaboom, here it is. But I feel like The Darkness and Bullets, Guns, and Guitars, I don't know if those songs were really a fair start, because it was kind of me trying things, and they weren't really, the originals were so rough. But I think when it really clicked into place was when I just sat down by my computer and I had like this melody in my head. This stuff is a little weird. Like I was a weird kid. Like I was really weird. I was very innocent and creative by nature. I like to play a lot. And I just, people like cats and dogs. I love cats, but like I loved mice. Like mice was my thing. So, I'd talk about mice. I would write songs about mice. And I think my first proper song I ever made was about mice, man. It was about mice. The first proper song I ever made was Hiiret track. Hiiret is mice in Finnish. And again, I don't have the original, but I have a version I made like maybe a year later. It was during the times when I had my first webcam. I'd start recording videos and having a proper understanding of multi-track recording. Like, wow, you can actually layer these things together. And I'd always like hum melodies along to the radio, Finnish radio. This was kind of, I guess, my chance to take my ideas and kind of capture them. It's my first introduction to just harmonies, and it was really fascinating to me. So let's hear Hiiret track. Here it is.
Potulla on hiiret, hiiret, ne kirkuja piipittää. Ne hiiret, hiiret, ne mun kavereita on. Hiiret, ne piipittää. Hiiret, ne piipittää.
Hiiret, ne. Oh, dynamics too on the whisper. I remember it was a creative decision. That's like the most likely option to be the first proper song I ever made. Hiiret track. It was a song about mice. Like listening to it now, I just feel like it's good. I don't know. I think it's good. Oh man, there's all kinds of other things I made. I wish I could find them and show them to you. There's something called Trues, which was a System of a Down thing. I have to remake that too. Yeah, that was one of my first ones too. That one just gives me the chills. I don't know. It's fun. And I discovered more mouse-related songs, so we could give those a listen. This one's called hiiri polka. It's like mouse polka. I don't know. Very cool. Something called hiiritys, mouse nest, I think it translates to. System of a Down. I even emulated the surf guitar slide thing that Darren does on Mesmerize and Hypnotize. That I did it with my mouth. You could hear it. So yeah, that's like a little dive into like where the whole music thing started. Feels like it was a strange kind of perfect storm thing. I think it's just my family was a huge like influence. I think a big part of my core personality that I think is just maybe a part of me and some gene things, like some kind of a worry mechanism where I have an idea and it's like, oh my God, I gotta get this out. I gotta get this done fast. Like that thing I think is probably just a part of me, kind of been with me ever since I was born. I would do weird things like I would decide in my mind that all of my toys need to be taped now. All of them. I need to get duct tape, get it all taped up, and I would just do that. And like I remember going to like some sort of kindergarten thing, had a huge like A3 sized paper, and I just decided like I'm gonna paint this whole thing red. The whole thing has to be red. And then I just paint the thing. And I remember just having these anxiety nightmares of like, just like, oh, it's not red here. Oh, it has to be red there. Mom is like, okay, we gotta go home now. And I'm like, no, I didn't get it done. I just carry that to this day. This is just how I've worked. Even though that's a part of my personality, I think a huge part of what I am, I think, just comes from my family. Like my brother played guitar and all this, and I think all of this stuff just came together and it made me. And here I am now, kind of doing the same thing that I used to, make videos and make music. Anyway, that's my origin story, I guess. And without further ado, I'm gonna remake Hiiret track, the first official Otu thing I made. So hope you enjoyed the video, and here it is. Enjoy. Otulla on hiiret, hiiret, ne kirkuja piipittää.